So sorry. And so this is a condensed course, summer course. The summer courses used to be 6 weeks long. Now they're 8 weeks, so that's nice, but it's still 16 weeks worth of content condensed into 8 weeks, right? So when you look at the syllabus and see the assignments, you go, because it is a lot of work, and I know it is. So I want to make sure that if hopefully people have taken online courses because of the pandemic, but maybe you haven't. There's one student that hasn't, I don't think, taken a course in a couple years. And so this is going to be a newer experience for that student. So, to make sure that there's ways to prepare, how do you learn best and things like that. So just know that you're going to be spending time online. It's nice because you can decide when you spend time online, but it's still going to be a lot of time online. And then this one talks about, being self-directed and the benefits of an online course. My goal, just so you all know, is for you all to succeed in the course. So whatever I need to do that's within my power, although you're doing the learning, I'm doing the facilitating of your learning, but just communicate. Let me know if there's something going on in your life or in your family or something that's, hindering you or you're not sure about, let me know and we can put a plan together. But try to stay on top of the assignments and turning them in, that type of thing. So that one is done. Is it making sense so far?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is just sort of the welcome, making sure everybody knows what's going on. So core rules of Netiquette, basically, how do you behave, right? How do you speak? I always say that people, you're not intentionally trying to say something bad or in a way that would be taken poorly, right? We always want to say that we always want to, do no harm, right? That we're coming from a place of goodness and support, right? So we need to try and make sure that the way we communicate online does that, right? But we're still human. We still might make mistakes, or we might say something in a certain tone, or our spelling might not be so great, but just be aware of that. And, other people have concerns. If you know something, if you have things you want to share, then, share them. That would be great, but be forgiving of other people's mistakes, because you're going to be asked to do some peer reviews on the research paper that you're doing. And so, try not to be too harsh with each other, but give honest, helpful feedback. So then you'll come to, it says your module's complete, yay. And you can go to the next module, or you can go back to the module page. So this module now is taking you to the syllabus. You can, over on the left-hand menu, it will take you to the syllabus, right? So this is my information, and everything that we're going to go through in that module is on this syllabus page. Here's the link to each one of those separate pages. So if you, for example, just want to know what the grading and assignments are, you don't have to scroll through or go to the module. You can just click on that one page. It makes it a lot easier, but I did want to go through and go over some key points, because I'm pretty sure you all want to know how you're going to pass the class, right? Because that's the goal. You want to take the class, you want to pass the class, you want to learn something at the same time, I'm hoping. So we'll get you through that. So the campus emergency statement, this is campus-wide, basically goes through who to contact, what to do. We're online, so it doesn't necessarily involve us as much, but it tells you, shelter in place, lockdowns, what to do. There's a little video on what to do, and emergency preparedness. What is good is to, if you see suspicious behavior on campus, you can contact safety. And one other really important things I think that we don't talk enough about, there is something called a behavioral intervention team website. So it's more if we're on campus, but as well online. If there's something that you see, somebody needs help, somebody's hurting, something's gone on in their life, or maybe even suspicious behavior, then if you go to this website, there's an anonymous form that you can fill out, and student services will follow up with that student. So we use it as faculty a lot when we hear that students are struggling maybe with housing or families, deaths or illness in the family. things like that. But I believe it's an underutilized resource. So that's why I like to bring it up, as well as if you're going into the healthcare profession, it's good to know about those resources. And then the next few things are just basic to nursing and allied health. If you are wanting to go into or applying to the VN or the RN program, you're going to see these things: our mission and vision statement, our core values. We call them the 5 C's, and that is what the VN and the RN curricula are based upon. Are these 5 C's? All the curriculum follows and is aligned with those 5 areas. We work very closely with respiratory care, our NVN respiratory care, as well as EMT and also public health. We all come together and work together on our philosophy. And those are our updated references now. You have to update those references all the time. And then you have what the associate degree program outcomes are, again, aligning with those 5 C's, as well as the next one should be the VN program outcomes. That is done. And it doesn't have the curiosity, it doesn't have those names, but it's the same 5 C's. And so once you get into, hopefully you will get into the program, then you will see those a lot. And then the outline and objectives, this is just the basic outline. Your course, although you signed up for it as NRN 704004 or NVN 704005, you're all together in the class. I've merged the classes together in Canvas, right? So it's all the same class. 3 units, and it just tells you about the course objectives, which are also, we will talk about in class, the different course content that we're going to talk about. These need to be updated a little bit because these are based on the old textbook, which I haven't used for 2 years. But growth and development doesn't change too much. We're going to go through all the developmental stages, middle childhood, adolescence, all the way through adulthood and end of life care, and talking about governmental influences and communication. Because as a healthcare professional, that's what we spend most of our time doing, right? Is communicating, regardless of what area you're in. The student learning outcomes for the course are that you will create a capstone group or individual project, which we'll talk about, and earn a grade of C or better. And that 100% of students enrolled will complete a paper on a health promotion topic or developmental group topic with a C or better. These, you'll hear the term SLO, student learning outcomes. These are campus-wide again, and this is how we look at if our course is effective or not when we go back and look at our student learning outcomes. It's more of an admin thing. Course materials. So there is no textbook for this course. There are links to these textbooks, which are what is called open educational resources. They are available for anyone to utilize. So you should be able to click on the link and it will take you there. You could put it on your desktop so you have it. There's also in the lessons, there's a lot of videos that I use. I have links to other pages, some articles, things like that. So it might be a little bit different for you, but we'll get through it. So if you're struggling, let me know and I'll get you in the right direction. Google Hangouts. I don't think I have Flipgrid this semester. Has anybody used Flipgrid before?
No.
I have.
What did you think of? Yeah, what did you think of it?
It was okay. Sometimes it was it will take too long to like post a video.
Yeah, because you kind of post a video and then students can provide feedback. It's kind of fun, but it's technology and not all the students can access it sometimes, and so we may or may not use it. I don't have it planned right now, but we'll see. So APA formatting is what we do in nursing and allied health. Are people familiar with APA format, or what other types of formatting have you used in the past?
MLA format.
MLA.
Yeah,
That's
that's
and
the
that's
only one I know. Yeah,
yeah.
MLA.
So MLA. So APA is a little bit different, not much different, but a little bit different. But you have these, I think, great resources on how to do and we're on the 7th edition now. And when you are in nursing and allied health, you will use APA formatting. And so there are videos. This one specifically talks about the 7th edition. There's a couple websites. I will tell you that the website I find and most students find useful, which is why it says here best source and easy to follow in my humble opinion, is this Purdue Online Writing Lab. And this link will take you, should take you directly there. Can you see that is the Purdue Online Lab? Okay. And so you can go here. This is general format, but you have how to do in-text citations, how to write your reference list, the major paper sections. They play with the website a little bit, but it will give you an APA sample paper, right? And how to do all those things. So I think it's really helpful in that aspect. And I like that source. The top video is also another good source, but we will be using APA format. And again, if you have questions, let me know. Again, you'll be doing your peer reviews. So work with each other, help each other out. Okay, here we go, grading and assignments. So as some of you have noted, there is the syllabus activity, and you guys are doing, those of you that have been in there have been doing a really nice job with that. You're supposed to read through the syllabus, and then there's a Google Doc where you add key points from the syllabus. So there are, I think, 26 or 27 of you right now, and you have to write an individual item. Nobody can copy the same item. You have to write a new item down. So there are 850 points available, and this is the breakdown. So if you want to get an A, if you would like to earn an A, I don't give you the grade, you earn your grade, I facilitate your learning, you would have to earn at least 765 points of the 850 to earn the A. And then it breaks it down the points. It's basically 90%, 80%, 70%, 60%. Okay, that's pretty straight and simple. And then it goes through the different sections. So there is a developmental research paper. You will choose a developmental stage that you want to write about. There's an introduction, the body, there's 2 parts, well, there's 4 parts to the body of the paper. So sections 1 and 2 and then 3 and 4, and then the conclusion and the reference page. So basically what you're doing is every week you're turning in part of that final paper so that you're not procrastinating, hopefully, because you have points due for it. And then as you turn it in, you will have peer reviews, and part of those 8 points is completing your 2 peer reviews to help. And what that will do, hopefully, keeping my fingers crossed, is that you will see what other students are doing. Oh, I really like that. Oh, I don't want to do that. Oh, why didn't I think of that? Or, hey, I noticed a couple misspellings. Here's kind of what I noticed. Those types of things. So I think that will be helpful. I do also go through to assign the points when everybody's done. So I do keep an eye on that. There are some growth and development templates. Those will come starting in, what week do I have that now? Week 5. You'll start with the infant template, and it basically talks about, they're kind of like cue cards sort of, that talk about the key points of infant growth and development, toddler growth and development, and so on. And those are 10 points each. And then you'll have certain assignments. Notice there's not an assignment every week. You're doing something every week, but not necessarily an assignment. It could be a discussion, could be an assignment, could be a learning activity. So it's kind of mixed up a little bit. So week 3, you'll start with an assignment about developmental theories. We've got dealing with grief in week 4. You're going to do a toy comparison and a safety campaign in week 6. Talk about homeless and disadvantaged teens. Hold on, Megan, I see you. And then talk about health screening in early adults. Megan, did you have a question? And Lisa has a question, sorry. So let's do Megan and then Lisa.
Yes, my question's about the format. Does it have to be the 7? Because I was looking in my Microsoft Word and it has 6. What's the difference between the 6 and the 7?
There's not too much different. And I think, I want to say in that first video, it talks about the differences between 6 and 7, or you can Google them, or Purdue OWL has the differences. Basically, all I'm looking for, one of the big ones is the running head. In 7th edition, the running head is no longer required in a student paper. They've basically separated, it used to be one paper, and now they've sort of separated it into if you're a student doing a paper versus if it's like a research, your master's degree, or you're trying to, publish it. I also don't need an abstract. And then it would just be references on the reference page, references centered. In the top, it's got to be the double spaced.
Okay, so
and the references are really the big thing, and that hasn't really changed. There's a couple things here and there. If you have articles with multiple authors, you don't have to list all the authors out anymore. You can, I think you go to 4 or 5 of them, or 3 or 4 of them, and then do et al. Or whatever. So there's not too much, but for consistency, we're trying to move to the 7th.
to the 7th one. Okay,
7th one.
okay, I'll try to figure it out then.
Yeah, it's not too bad, and there are actually websites that will compare for you.
Okay, yeah, because I right away went to my Word. I was like, "What's this?" And then it popped up 6, and I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, we went to 7, and then Miss Lisa, did you have a question?
Yeah, so for the research paper, are you gonna give us like a topic to work with, or
Yep.
we could choose?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and we'll get to that after we get through the syllabus. Yes.
One more question.
Yeah.
Megan, how you figured out what word do you have?
Oh, Megan, she's asking like, how did you figure out that she had 6th edition APA formatting on her computer?
Oh,
Yeah,
I just went into my Word, and then it asks, like, it brings up like blank document or all kinds of different stuff. So I clicked templates and I typed
okay.
it in.
Oh, templates. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's how
Okay,
I found when I took English, that's how I found the APA, because that didn't exist when I was in high school. I was like, or MLA or whatever it was. I
Mhm.
was like, what the heck is that? But yeah.
Okay, I will check it out. Mhm. Thank you.
Awesome.
Mhm.
And so then there's other activities. They're less points. They're kind of fun-ish kind of things. So for example, you've already have been working on the Google Hangouts and the syllabus review. So that's great. And you're going to start to work on the communication styles as well. Again, there's not one in every week. They're just kind of little short, quick kind of things to help learn about yourself, as well as explore some growth and development topics. Key terms, so none this week, but every week after this, there's about 10 key terms. You can find the definitions in your resources, in the books. It could be in in some of the videos that you're watching. Just as long as you cite your source, you would receive credit. You get half a point for each term, and you get 5 points for making sure that you have credited the source. Because you don't have one textbook to just be able to say, oh, well, it's Lifer and Fleck, page 300. So I need to know where you're getting, from where you are getting your information. And then we have discussions almost every week. The getting to know you one is the one that you're working on right now, and you guys are doing a great job. Please remember that the responses need to come after, I think this week it's Thursday, but in the following weeks, it's after Wednesday. This week, it's not as vital because it's more of a hi, how you doing, back and forth type of conversation. But next week, for example, we're going to talk about cultural considerations in healthcare and looking at different ways that, that there are barriers to accessing healthcare. And so if we say that the initial post is due by Wednesday at midnight, then all 26 of you should have a post completed, right? Your initial post of the topic that the example that you're giving. And then after Wednesday, people can start responding, and it gives people an opportunity to respond to any student. Because what happens normally in a discussion if we don't set deadlines? Has anybody done discussions before?
Like 3 or 4 people respond, and that's it the whole time.
Yeah.
right? Because so like Megan and Lisa and Steven will always get their posts done by Monday at midnight, right? And so then the rest of you only answer the 3 of them. You never answer anybody else.
Mhm.
But if you all post or are supposed to post, I know you all won't, but you should, you lose points if it's after the due date. But anyway, then it gives all of you an opportunity, right, to receive feedback and to have this conversation with each other. And it also provides you with an opportunity to read through several people's and decide which one speaks to you that you want to respond to. Right, so that's the reasoning behind doing that. So I did write a note in the getting to know you discussion, because many of you have already responded to each other. So if you just remember to go and respond to at least one person after Thursday, then you'll get the full credit for that discussion. Because when I go into the gradebook to look, I'll pull up, for example, Megan, and it will show me her initial post and then each post that she has responded to another person in the class. And I look at the date that it was done. And that's how I
So
determine.
So after
Yes.
Thursday, do we respond again to another of our
Yes.
classmates?
For the
Okay.
getting to know you, you can respond whenever, just make sure that one of them is after Thursday, just so you get, I
Okay.
wanted you to get in the habit of, oh, I have to wait till everybody's posted before I respond. But the getting to know you, that, this is the first week. That's why there's not a whole lot in the first week, especially because we have 8 weeks now. And so I want you guys to become familiar with Canvas, with how the course is working with each other, get to know me a little bit, and work on our communication, like the Hangouts and the Google Docs, make sure everybody knows how to do that, right? And then we're gonna really dive in next week with culture and healthy people and more in-depth topics. But this is sort of like, okay, everybody, let's gear up, right? Let's figure out what we need to do. You will have quizzes. These are on Canvas. They are not on, there's no Proctorio for it. You get 2 attempts and you get, I don't know, exorbitant amount of time to do them. Some of them are, they're usually maybe 10, might be 20 questions. Some are multiple choice, some are true, false, matching. Many of them are short answer. Most of them are open book. And so they open on Friday evening at 5 o'clock, and you have until Sunday at midnight in which to complete them. Once you start it, you must finish within that session. And then what I would suggest is you'll get your answers, because you should see some of the answers or know at least which ones you got incorrect. And then you can go back and fix them on your second attempt. Some students don't even bother with the second attempt, but just know that it's there. It's up to you. You know the points you need. I prefer that everybody completes all the assignments, but again, you're adults, so you can do the math on the points, to earn the grade that you would like to earn. And then the Capstone project, there's a rubric for that, but it's worth 100 points, and that's a group project. And so then basically I just sort of broke things down by week. So the first week, there's like 50 points available, 68. So the points kind of increase as we go along. You can see the paper gets turned in, the draft gets turned in every week. You have key terms due every week, a quiz every week. Week 5, you can see the weeks that are heavier. So like week 6, there's not a discussion, but there's a couple assignments to do. Week 7 is when you're, I separated out the paper points at the 100. So there's 110 plus the paper. But if you have done all your drafts and taken the feedback that your classmates have given you, you should have your paper all put together well before week 7, right? You should basically be done week 6 and then just be getting feedback on your conclusion and references and be able to turn the paper in. And then week 8. So there's a couple activities, and then the capstone project will be due at the end, and hopefully we'll get a chance to kind of present those. And I can talk about that in a little bit as well. Excuse me. So basically classroom community, any questions on grading and assignments? Is it pretty clear? And then each assignment will be put in the module. So you just click on it. If I forget, somebody tell me I forgot it and I'll add it. You guys got to remind me a lot. Community guidelines, just be respectful, right? Try not to be rude, try not to interfere with other people, be respectful. That's basically it, and communicate. And then don't cheat, please. We don't use, I don't use Proctorio for the quizzes. However, your growth and development paper will get turned in via Turnitin. So if anything pops up there, you know, it will pop up and we'll talk about it.
What's via Turnitin?
Turnitin is a, when you go to submit your paper, it automatically will put it into this thing called Turnitin, which looks, it checks for plagiarism. So for example, if there was another paper turned in or you plagiarized or didn't cite something, right? Because as you're going through, say you're talking about adolescence, for example, you're going to talk about their growth, development, some moral stages, some things, and you're going to have what are called in-text citations. So in the paragraph, you're going to, you know, have a citation from wherever you got your reference for that information, right? So say it's Lifer and Fleck, that's our old book that we used to use. So you'd have at the end of that paragraph where it said that they grow, you know, 6 inches and they gain this weight and they do this and that. You have Lifer and Fleck, page 1988, whatever it is, you know, page 230. And that particular in-text citation will then match to a reference on your reference list, your reference page. Right. So your reference is not a bibliography. It is not a list of, it's not a list of every single thing that you used as a reference. It's a list of the actual references that you have cited in writing your paper.
So you have to write down the actual page, 34, 26, 8.
Yeah, I did
Which-
that for my,
Yeah, which
my-
online, you know, you may or may not be able to find, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I did that for my
okay.
thesis, for my bachelor, and my instructor have to put my work through a website to
Yes.
see.
That's what Turnitin is. Yes.
Oh,
And every
okay.
time I miss something, I gotta go back and fix it.
That's crazy. See, I was old. I'm old.
No, you're not old. Just things happen. And then we have the units for the class. It's three units. This just explains to you where you get the time commitment for the course. So it's a 3-unit compressed course. So you still have to spend the same amount of time as you would in the 16-week course, but it kind of lays out for you how much. It's also an online course, so it's really not lecture. But in terms of reading through the materials, doing the assignments, how much time you should kind of expect to spend. Some of you might not. It just depends. So you guys can read through that. If anybody needs to drop, feel free. I don't take it personally ever. I may bug you if I see you, if you don't turn in work like for a whole week and you haven't talked to me, I will probably shoot you an email and say, hey, are you doing okay? Are you wanting to continue with the course? Because I haven't seen you, you haven't turned things in, or are you okay? And sometimes students will say, oh, gosh, I'm not even sure. I'm like, then go ahead and drop. Not a problem. You can always retake it. Sometimes students will say, nope, I got it. It was just a small blip. I'm good to go. And they get right back on and things are fine. Sometimes they say, oh, no, I've got it. It's not a problem. And they still don't turn anything in. And then I ask them again before the final drop date, are you sure you don't want to drop? Because there are certain drop dates, right, that you have on that academic calendar that you have. And you have up until that last, whatever drop date it is. I want to say it's July 17th or somewhere in there because the course ends July 31st. If you don't drop by that date and or I don't drop you, you could earn yourself a D or an F in the class if you don't turn the work in. So I try to give you every opportunity, but again, it's up to you. Yeah, here's the dates are there for you. And this comes from Pause. Try to lay it out there for you so you know what to expect. FERPA just means that we keep your information private. It's kind of like HIPAA, only for students. And we did that. And then if anybody needs assessments or services through the Department of Supported Programs and Services, most students that use this department get or have available to them time and a half on quizzes and or exams. For this course, you have a lot of time, but certainly if you feel that you need time and a half, you can contact DSPS and they will send me a letter stating that you qualify for time and a half or recorded lectures or whatever it is that is helpful to you. And then most of you already know that you want to apply, but if you have questions, this is the link to Nursing and Allied Health information. Talks about all, I think this was just a view page. Yes, it was. Right. And so once you get through all that, it will then take you into week 1, right? Which is where most of you should, oh, this was actually, I know, right? This was in the syllabus because it's a syllabus activity, right? So it will tell you, oh, okay, Sunday, it's 10 points. You can mark it as done. That doesn't mean you've done it. It just means that you've read that you need to do it. And so what you're going to do, that's what we said, is you're going to add something different. And oh, I don't know why I have 2 links there. So sorry. But it should, fingers crossed, yes, take us to the Google Doc for summer 2021. And we should be able to see, yes, we can. So people have written in either different colors and written the points. Somebody here wrote in this blue. I don't know who it was because you didn't write your name if you're here. So please go back and add your name so you can earn credit. And then, oh, good, Randy got in and Maria got in, right? And so I said, great work, let's keep it going, right? So that's all you're doing, is just adding to it. And that was in the syllabus module because it actually has to do with the syllabus. And there's your rubric, right? Do it, you get 10 points. Yay. That also gets a grade in your grade book, so you get to see the grade book and all that kind of stuff. And yay, you finished the syllabus module. Woohoo, you made it. And then what it will do then is it's going to take you through the next couple modules, which is the research paper and the capstone. These are also marked as done because I want to make sure that you've read them so you understand that you have a paper due and that you have a capstone project due. And so again, the due date would be is the 25th. So that's week 7, the end of week 7, 4 to 6 pages, blah, 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 7th edition. What you're going to do is choose a developmental stage. Choose a developmental stage that speaks to you. For example, let's take Megan, because you're the one I see on my screen here, adolescence, which we talked about earlier in office hours, student hours. I also have added end of life. I had 2 students do that last summer and it worked out pretty well. And your paper, I basically walk you through what the paper needs to have. You're going to have an introduction. You're going to answer these questions. You're going to have a body. And this is where it gets a little bit confusing. And so the best way to do it is to write a paragraph for each topic within each section. You can also use section headers following the APA format. So basically, overall description of adolescence, like what's the age group, what are the physical changes that takes place. The heredity versus environment is maybe not specific to adolescence, but talking on a basic understanding of heredity versus environment. Although for teenagers, is there something from heredity that might affect them, or is environment a huge influence? Which it is. Peers are huge over parents in adolescence. Section 2, you're going to talk about the nutritional needs. How many calories, what types of foods, what's the best way to get them to eat the foods? Because that is based on nutritional guidelines, and you'll have resources for that. And talk about what happens if there's a deficiency. So if your teenager is going to eat candy all the time, what nutrients are they going to be deficient in, right? And so then what's that going to look like? You're also going to briefly address Freud's psychosexual theory of development and whatever stage they're in at that point. And then Freud also talks about specific defense mechanisms that people use. And so you're going to go into that specific to that age. So for example, there are specific ones for infants, but teenagers have some pretty good ones too. And so section 1 and 2 are one thing to turn in. Then the week after that, you have section 3 and section 4. So this is where you have to kind of pay attention. So you want to answer all the questions and you want to have one paragraph for each theorist. So for example, if you choose, again, this will work for adolescents. If you choose infant, early childhood, middle childhood, or adolescence, you need to describe some, you need to talk about Piaget, Erikson, Kohlberg, and also language with Vygotsky, which we will have gone over. You can look at the modules, the learning modules for those weeks for adolescents, and that will have all that information there for you. If you choose adulthood or middle adulthood, same thing, Piaget, Erikson, and Kohlberg. However, then for that fourth one, you get to decide. Do you want to choose Levinson, Levenger, or Havighurst? Because they have adult theories. Like a lot of people have heard of Piaget and Erikson. A lot of people haven't heard of Havighurst or Levinson because they're adult theories. And we don't really talk about adult development. This course brings you from birth to death, right? We're going to go through the whole lifespan. And then if it's late or advanced old age, again, Piaget, Erikson, and Kohlberg, but you also get to add Peck or Atchley to those other three, because they actually talk about stages of retirement and developmental tasks of the older person. So that's kind of cool. And then you're going to talk about emotional development and 3 appropriate play or social activities. I mean, I don't really think 85-year-old, we think of play, but they certainly have social activities, and they may play golf or something like that. And then you'll have your conclusion and you'll answer those questions. One of which is, do you know anyone in the age group that you studied? So you can compare and contrast the information that you found with the person that you know. If you don't know somebody, then think of somebody, oh, my neighbor down the street, or, this person or that, hopefully. So hopefully you're going to write about somebody that you sort of have some knowledge of. Minimum of 3 references, the APA formatting, and gives you some information there. Any questions on that so far?
Is that for the, for the draft paper?
Yeah, and so then it takes you through each section. So for the introduction, all I do is copy and paste, and this is your introduction, right? So this is the introduction. So you're gonna do an introduction, and then once it hits the due date, the peer review should kick in automatically. If not, I'll go in and hit the button so that they get assigned. And if you need to know what that looks like, you have these resources here for Canvas that tells you, how do I know if I have a peer review to complete? Usually it will pop up like on your calendar, or there's a place on the page. Somebody said they did it in English. Who did it? Was that you, Megan? Or it'll pop up. There's a little message that says you have 2 peer reviews to complete.
We did peer reviews, but we were in class.
Oh, okay. So
So
online.
it was different. Yeah.
Got
That's what I was
it.
gonna ask you. How do we know, and who do
Yep.
we know? How do we send?
Yep. And so what you're going to do is read through these resources here, and it's going to tell you how you send it, how you have to do it, where can I find what people have said. And I keep an eye on it because I have a list of who's completed them and who's not.
So
Right.
you don't have to find 2 people. You just send it to 2 people. And
Yeah, the computer Canvas automatically anonymously sends it.
what if your 2 people don't do it?
Well, then they won't get the 4 points, and you miss out on not getting the feedback. That would be so nice for you to have.
Yeah. Do we get the points though? Because even
if you do your peer reviews, the points are for you completing your peer reviews.
So we have to complete 2. I thought we
Mhm.
had to get 2 because that was how my English teacher's like, you have to get 2, and I'm like,
Right, you have no control over the other person.
yeah.
Right now,
Yeah.
I will send reminders.
Okay.
And I am also reading through. So like if for some reason somebody didn't do a peer review for you, I would read through and see if I had some feedback for you, and
Okay.
I would give my feedback as well. But the points are for you completing
to do your 2.
your peer reviews.
Got it. So I was thinking, oh no, wait. Okay, perfect.
And you get points for completing 1 and or 2. So
Okay.
yeah. And so then this just takes you through each section that you're supposed to do. Basically, did you turn it in? And it lays out the points for you. There we go. Next. And the conclusion and the reference page are 2 separate ones. Let's see. And then this is, I didn't unlock it. Okay. Oops. I have to go back and check those, sorry. And that's what happens. It won't let me look at those. And what else? And references. Oh, I obviously didn't click something, sorry, but it'll take you through. And then the final paper as well. Somebody just joined, hello. And then for the capstone, there we go. Oh, I have to add for that. Okay. This is great when I go through this. I'm like, oh, I forgot to add this. Oh, I forgot to add that. And so this is a group project. You're going to work in groups of 2 to 4 students. It could be a bigger group if you want. Let's see if the people tab works. It should work. Ah, yes. Yay. Okay. So this particular, it's not going to give me the groups. I already have it. It'll say capstone project groups, but you can make your own groups. So this is a list of all the students that are currently enrolled in the class. And then that way you can go through and make your own groups, or you can tell me what people you want in your group, which you're going to get to know each other, you know, through doing all these activities. You're going to choose a family from the real world, TVs, movies, something like that. Hopefully you'll let me know by week 4, so I can let you know if that works. You can do cartoon people. This tells you how old I am, Rugrats and Simpsons. But it, you know, you could do American Dad. There's other ones out there. And then this basically tells you what you need to do in terms of introducing the family, talking about development, kind of follows your paper, right? Only we're looking at a real world family. You've done the research now, and now you're going to relate that to something that everybody kind of knows about. And is it accurate? Is it not accurate? And then describe examples of development. So you guys can read all this on your own. There is the rubric. It's 100 points. You do a little presentation, I think, at some point. Yeah, you know, usually it's a PowerPoint. Doesn't have to be APA format for your references. Most people do a PowerPoint. They include like a little video from YouTube or something that talks about, you know, that's an example of a dysfunctional family, right? Like if you pick Simpsons, plenty of examples of dysfunctional family. There are a few examples of functional family in Simpsons as well, but so then you can just do little YouTube clips. So does that make sense?
Yeah. Question. So that one we can do like, I was going to say Flipgrid. That was the wrong thing. Like a
PowerPoint?
slideshow.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't have to be a paper.
Nope. I prefer it not to be a paper.
Okay. And then that's one per the group, not one each of us.
Correct. The group will earn the grade.
Okay. Okay.
So that's why you want to make sure you follow the rubric.
Got it.
Okay. All right. So I know that's a lot of information, but I'm hoping that that has explained a lot for you. So we did that. There's the syllabus we went through, right? And then we talked, I did not complete all items. Will it let me complete all items? No. Okay, I will go back and make sure that we can complete all items. We went through the paper and see, that one was completed. Okay. So there's your capstone. So those are the big point items, your paper and your project. The capstone project is your final exam. There is not a multiple choice or any kind of quiz exam. The capstone project is your final. Okay, so that's why that's important. And so then you'll go through each week.
That's nice. Thank you.
You're welcome. I know I have some students that are taking more than one. I am not the only course. And when I am not the only course, I go to the bottom of the list. I get that. So good to know these things. So week 1, again, these are the things. Each week should be set up the same way. You will have an overview that will tell you, hey guys, this is kind of what we're covering. You know, for the week, we're going to talk about communication. There's your lesson. There's the activity you need to do. Read this chapter. This is the stuff you need to turn in, right? And then it will go through a lesson or a discussion, whichever order it gets put in. So here's the getting to know you discussion. And again, everybody's been doing great. You guys have figured out the video. Sorry if Amanda's here. I didn't mean to make you think about your granddad. But I love that picture. But you guys are doing great with the, you go down to the bottom. And I'm trying to respond to everybody in this particular discussion. And then here's the lesson. So here's the objectives. Here's the chapter on communication. There's a little PowerPoint that I've done. There might be some videos here for you to watch, and some supplemental resources. So that is your lesson. I have not in the past, because this is a distance ed online course, I have not actually done lectures, because people don't really take online courses to have lectures. They take online courses to do self-learning and work through it. I do have weekly student hours. I'm having those on Fridays. But if people want me to do something, I can pick a time during the week where I'll be available and talk about the topics, and I can record it. But I don't usually do lectures, but I
That's
can.
kind of our lecture then, that.
Yes,
that
the lesson,
it'll be the videos and whatever books parts
Yes.
you want us to read. Okay.
Exactly.
And that's how we do future homeworks. Cause like this week, it's not really homework, this kind of stuff. So future homeworks, we just read all those stuff, watch the videos, and then continue on.
Yes. Yes. And it will take you through to the quiz, do this, do this.
Okay. Okay.
And then, so here's your communication styles one, which some people have already looked at. You go to the Google Doc. Oh, it pulled up, yay. I get so excited when stuff works, because sometimes it doesn't. And so basically you're going to look and see which style you think you belong in, right? And so Amanda and Gabby have put themselves under the friendly, unassuming. Megan, you put yourself under thoughtful, analytical. You're going to add yourself into whichever category you think that you belong. And then once everybody's done that, by the 13th, I will have put you into groups yet again. And this time you'll be grouped by friendly, unassuming. So all the friendly, unassuming people will be together, and you will need to put together a Google Doc that talks about the characteristics of your style. What's it like to have a friendly, unassuming communication style? How do other people misunderstand that communication style? How can other people deal more effectively with you? And how, as a group, did your process go to complete this assignment? When you come through the nursing program, you will go through leadership dynamics and find out kind of your learning style. And this is sort of the same thing. So there'll be some things that we'll talk about, and it'll be really kind of fun, I think you'll have fun with it. So that the group as a whole will turn in a Google Doc that answers these questions, or it doesn't have to be a Google Doc. It can be, if that works for you, that's great. Or somebody can put together a Word doc, whatever works for you. You can get placed in groups, and then there's the rubric, because there's always a rubric. People will tell you, follow the rubric if you want the points. And the Google Hangouts. And again, I'll work on getting all those people in that are still not in. So we've got that one. Again, there's your rubric. Oops. Next. It's telling me I didn't submit. I know I didn't submit. And then what you'll get is you'll get that you've completed week 1. The accomplishments won't come out until the next week, because I'm going to go back and recap the weeks for you. Right. So there, you can click on it, but there won't be anything for you to congratulate yourselves on yet. So your accomplishments will go here. So in other words, I would put down the communication styles perhaps, and list what everybody's feedback was. Things like that will go there. And then I think that's that. Let me get out of, take one look. Lifespan, we did that. And so week 2 is the same kind of thing. You have an overview. We're going to talk about culture and family. There's your lesson, right? That's your lecture, your lesson, right? And then there's an activity, there's a discussion. Then we're going to talk about healthy people and governmental influences. There's your lesson, right? There is a discussion, but this discussion isn't due until week 3, because it's going to take you a little bit of time to figure out what you're going to want to talk about. And then it'll also be a section here, what you need to turn in. Okay, I need to do my key terms. I need to take my quiz. I need to turn in my draft of my introduction, right? So it's all laid out, or should be all laid out like that. Each week you get the first 2 weeks now, and at the end of week 1, week 3 will pop up. And then at the end of week 2, week 4 will pop up. So you'll get another week each week. But if I put it all there, it's too much and people look ahead. What I might do is I take that back. I'll go ahead and publish them like over the next 2 weeks because you guys are going to need to look at them for your papers. So I'll go ahead and publish those. I totally forgot about that. And what else? Okay. So by next week, for those of you that don't know, I'm in Ohio right now, and I've been here. I'm starting on my way back tomorrow. So I'm trying to get as much done as I can. So most of my communication with you has been on my phone. So bear with me.
Is that what the ferry picture was from?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I was like, well, she's on a ferry going somewhere.
Yeah, I was going to Put in Bay. We lived in Ohio forever, and I never went, so that was kind of fun. So yeah,
Oh,
we
that's cool.
actually went to Georgia and West Virginia, and we've kind of been all over the place. Alrighty, so what other questions do people have?
I think you covered pretty much everything for me. I mean, I'm pretty sure there'll be things that'll come up.
Yeah.
This won't be the last of me.
I didn't think so. So Hangouts is a really good way to get a hold of me if it's like a personal thing, if it's something you think the group, even Hangouts for the group, right? Because everybody eventually will be on Hangouts. And so that's a quick way to ask a question or to, or if you want to put it in the Q&A discussion, that's another good place because I want you guys to learn and interact with each other.
How many courses do you get in the nursing school?
I teach mostly first and second semester in the RN program. Sometimes I'll do clinicals in the VN program. I also helped write the new curriculum that we've just implemented. So you see me a lot in first and second semester.
That's cool.
So, and I try to run this kind of like it would be in a nursing or VN RCP course.
Yeah.
So that you kind of get a taste of what it will be like. I was telling one student, maybe it was you, Megan, I can't remember, because I know we talked today, but it's like this week right now, it's kind of like, okay, there's this to do and there's that to do. But next week, it's like, bam, 10 things and they're all due at the same time. And that's nursing. That's the nursing RN VN program. That's RCP. It's all kind of the same thing. So you sort of get an idea.
I'm excited to get in.
I know it's going to be good. What other questions do people have? Anything? If not, I will, this is recorded and it's going to, I usually post them on YouTube. So it takes a while for it to come around and get closed captioned and all that. And I will probably post them in announcements, I'm thinking, or in the module for the week that we do it. But if that's all that people have, if nobody else has questions, I'll work on getting those couple of people into Hangouts, and everybody have a good night.
Thank you.
I'll look forward to seeing you in the discussion.
Thank you.
You too.
Thank
Have a
you.
good evening.
All right, thank you.
Good evening.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.